Sup, guys? It's Corrupted
And this Trago.
with Ramen for the Soul, and we're back today with episodes 801 to 825, getting
Back.
into the nitty gritty.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah,
Whole
good one.
cake.
Good one. Welcome back. Whole Cake Island, man. Sanji's pretty much betrayal into his what do you call it? Into his enlightenment. But
Well,
as always, before we get into it, make sure y'all like, y'all comment, y'all subscribe, man. We enjoy all of the support y'all been showing us. We've been seeing the subscribe number rise. We're trying to get to 50, hopefully 100 soon. It's been crazy, man. With this installment, like, what we on? We getting close to 30 now, ain't we?
it's 31.
31. Dang.
Yeah.
See, I'm off. I'm off.
Yeah. You know something funny that I kept thinking about watching these
Yeah.
episodes is that you could technically call Whole Cake the Sanji retrieval arc.
Righteously. Righteously
Yeah.
so.
And it just cracks me up because like they're both fans of each other. Like Kishimoto and Oda, they're big fans of each other's work. Like they've both said that like Kishimoto's like a huge fan of Naruto or not Naruto, One Piece, and then Oda's a huge fan of Naruto. So it's cool that you could also like share the names of some of the arcs because
Of
apparently
course.
they're
And both of
big
them,
fans of each other.
of course. And both of them trained under Akira Toriyama as well.
Yeah. Well, what's it called? Doctor Slump is why they say that they started writing manga in the first place,
It's always great.
which was
You know. I ain't
the
I ain't gonna lie,
yeah.
seeing that and learning that about that uh during Akira Toriyama's passing just made it like all the more just more, all the more intense.
Also, speaking of Akira Toriyama, you want to know something hilarious? So, no one knows who invented chibi as an art style, but the first known example of chibi was like a random thing, like a random anime style thing, in like the late 70s, I believe, and uh the head of production of that, like the head artist, was Akira Toriyama, so he probably invented chibi, which is kind of fun. Like the first ever production that used the chibi art style in the work was Akira Toriyama was in charge of. So not only is he like the person that inspired like almost every manga, but he's also the he probably invented chibi. Talk about a legacy, dude.
Very intense legacy. When you think about it, man, Akira Toriyama's done a lot for just the anime world in of itself. Like especially
Well,
how
I'd say the
now you
storytelling
see
world.
that's a deeper one. That's definitely a deeper one. But when you talk about like how every character, shonen, powerful, whatever you want to call it, coming out has always on a scale of how powerful are they compared to Goku. Like it's always it ain't even if they about if they could beat him or not or what is that. That's never the first thought. That's always like the scale though. You know what I'm saying? Like can they beat Goku though? Like that's just how it goes. And I think that's
Yeah.
what's inspired a lot of stories and like to just go crazy in power. Like I don't think we've seen if Dragon Ball doesn't take its peak all day, I don't think we see a lot of stories take the scale of power into just as crazy as we've seen it. Um, you know, I know Gurren Lagann's one that's a crazy power level system, and what Rimuru Tempest and Slime, and
And
there's a couple
what's it
more
called?
I can't think
The
of. Oh,
series or
Bashimon,
however you say it. Guardians of the Zodiac.
Bashimon, yeah, Guardian, yeah, 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 yeah.
That's like the one thing I can think of that is just like, yeah, they 100% beat Goku. Like even post Super, it's just like, yeah, they 100% beat Goku. That's the only thing I can think of. That are just like
But yeah, man.
no argument from me. But so this week's episode starts with the Sanji backstory that we don't know, where Like we've seen like little bits of him getting beat up by his fellow quadruplets, but this shows like the rest of it, and it re-shows him on the island with Zeph, and when he talks mad shit to what's the second one's name? Uh, it's not Ichiji. It's
No, it's Nietzsche.
Niji. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Nietzsche.
Niji. Um, when he talks like mad shit for throwing stuff at the waitress, and then he eats the stuff off the ground, and he's just like, "This is delicious." Like I think he actually like his exact words in the anime is, "This is flawless," or the flavor. And then you see Niji tries to kick him, and he just doesn't move. But it fucks up what's her name? I can't remember the girl's name. And they're all afraid of. It's crazy. They're all afraid of Niji killing Sanji with the kick, but we know that it won't kill Sanji. Like we know full-heartedly that it won't kill Sanji, but I digress. And then we learn like a little bit more about the backstory with when what's it called, when he was a kid, what they would do to him. And it's kind of cool because he got put in an iron mask, and in a previous SBS, I don't remember which SBS it was, but Oda said what the real world nationality of all the One Piece, like all the Straw Hats would be. And Sanji's was French. He's based off a Frenchman. And it's kind of cool because when he was a kid, since he didn't do how they wanted him to do, like how Judge wanted him to do, he had a iron mask on his face and had to sit in a cage. And the iron mask, the idea of a prince, because Sanji is a prince, that's actually even what Sanji said his last name was back in the day, if you remember. Like, way back, like everything just said like Sanji Prince, like in the first arc. He the Man of the Iron Mask story about a story by Alexander Dumas about a dude in an iron mask, but it's based off a real world person, and nobody knows who the real person actually was, but a bunch of people, including a lot of historians, believe that it was Louis XIV's twin brother, Philippe, and he wore the mask. He was forced to wear the mask because they wanted Louis to be king and not him, for not really sure the reason why, but it fits here because Sanji's supposed to be based off a Frenchman. That's one of the reasons he smokes so much, is he's based off a Frenchman, and he was put in an iron mask as a kid, just like supposedly the twin brother of another French monarch, which is pretty cool parallel to like real life.
That is a cool parallel. That is a cool parallel. I didn't know that at first. I knew about the Iron Mask theory, about it was related to something French, but I didn't know how deep it went with the brother and stuff.
Yeah, it was just to like force somebody else
That's cool.
to be
That's really cool.
king, sort of thing. If that's how it happened, we don't, like the historians don't know for sure if that's why it happened or not. But it's just kind of cool that it worked out that way. And then we learn like Germa is special because of all their soldiers are clones. So it makes you wonder, how could they be considered an actual country when they don't actually have citizens? They just have royalty. It's kind of weird. I think that's kind of like a moral thing then, though, that like they shouldn't be royalty. Not I think it's kind of like a joke from Oda, because they have royalty, but they don't have people that the royalty rule over. They just have a bunch of clones, which means that they're not real royalty. I feel like it's Oda's way of saying like they don't deserve royalty status.
False kings.
Yeah, he's kind of just like they're false kings because they rule over false land too because it's just a bunch of snails on a
Yeah,
block.
so it's not true. It's not true land,
Yeah, and it's not
really.
a true. It feels like it's saying that it's not true kingdom, because the only
I
reason
feel
that
like
people listen to them is because they genetically have to.
they
Like
have the
it's like,
numbers and the technology and the power that makes them significant enough in the world to get recognized. I think because their power is pretty. Since Judge trained under Vegapunk. He was part of Mads, and
but also though, like in the grand scheme of thing though, like at this point, Germa seems like almost unstoppable in the story. But if you're caught up in the grand scheme of things, Germa's not that strong, so it's kind of weird. But if you think about it in the sense like everyone that's not in the new world is super underpowered, like it makes sense. But if you're not thinking about it, because there's no way Germa could get out of the new world. You know what I mean? Like as a country,
hey,
like the
hey,
country
that's a
can't.
video right there
So
talking
it's
about
just like
every faction that can get that's not in the new world. Could they thrive in the new world? Because we've seen Krieg try to get to the new. No, he got effed up in the Grand Line, didn't he?
yeah, the
Yeah,
Baratier's
Krieg got,
not even in the Grand Line.
yeah,
But
no,
yeah, he
Krieg got effed
was
up in
he
the Grand
went to
Line
the
for
Grand
some reason.
Line, and that's where Mihawk was just like, no, you shouldn't be here. Like he went to the Grand Line, and they were in there for like 2 weeks or whatever. Or no, I think it might have been 2 days, and then Mihawk just said on site, and then fucking destroyed the shit.
Yeah,
And
just
that's
trying to
not
think
it. Like in Grand
of
Line,
all the
people don't even
factions.
really. There's only like one group in the behind the Grand Line that uses hockey, but in New World, everyone uses hockey. So it's
Yeah,
like,
so it'd be tough. It'd be really tough for anybody pre hockey to even try to thrive in the new world. So yeah,
yeah, like the only country in the Grand Line that could probably survive in the New World is Amazon Lily, because they're the only ones that we know of that are forced to know hockey. Excuse me. So, which is kind of interesting. Also, another big question: how the fuck did Thriller Bark get to the New World?
Moria.
I get that, but I wonder did he just put Thriller Bark as like because I don't see how that can go into Fishman Island and then back out. So I wonder if he just had it built.
Remember, he can separate it. He has his own little ship in there too. Because
Yeah,
remember,
I'm
they
just
that's
saying
how they
he
left.
must. I'm saying like he probably can't take the whole thing.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, that's a tangent though. And then we learn with like Germa, it's a nation of science. It sounds very, very the cult part shit of what Hitler was trying to do. If we're gonna be real with each other, does it not? Like the because like it's probably Oda making fun of Germa here because they have like a lot of like imperial German imagery. You know what I mean? In Germa itself, and also the word Germa is just Germany without the N and the Y. With the
Pretty much.
Nation of Science stuff, it sounds like he's making fun of it because when the Third Reich was around, Germany had a like an entire faction dedicated to like bullshit pseudoscience and mysticism. And that's what this just reminds me of when they're just like the bloodline elements and stuff like that. It sounds like he's making fun of both of them at the same time, and I
Yeah,
find it
but it's
hilarious.
exactly what we think about Judge too. Judge in his like extra like the way he is, it's so funny because like it's almost like he thinks that his people, the people he created, are the best people ever. The way he has like this nationalist kind of mentality to
Yeah.
him, or like supreme patriotism of a country he created that's not even a real country.
Well, what's it called? He didn't create it. He's just the king of it. Cause what's it called? It was like his family was like the leaders of a country that got ousted, and that's why like he created
Yeah.
Germa because he wants his land back, which is very Third Reichy.
Very Third Reichy.
And then this is where we get a foreshadow
Oh
for
yeah.
almost the
Her name was
entire.
Cosette. Cosette. That was her name.
Cosette. Which one's Cosette? Oh yeah, the
The
chef. Yeah,
girl.
yeah, yeah. I
The
kept wanting
girl
to
up
call
in
her
the
Compote,
up in
but
the banquet.
Compote's the one that cuts Nami's shirt open later. Um, but I kept wanting to call her Compote. um, but this is where we get the big foreshadow for like half of Egghead arc, too, where he's just like, back in the day, Dad was a genius scientist, and he worked with the Dr. Vegapunk and discovered the presence of bloodline elements. And it really just sounds like Judge was into eugenics when he says it like that. When Yonji tells Sanji it, and it sounds like it really just sounds uh like it really just sounds like he was really into eugenics, which is
Hmm.
also probably Oda making fun of the Third Reich again, because the Third Reich was into eugenics. I feel like he's just making fun of like a bunch of stupid stuff that happened throughout history there, like in World War II and
Just with
stuff.
these factions or just in this arc alone. As you can see it with like, I feel like he was making fun of like Shogun stuff up in like that whole lifestyle.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
hella critiques feudalism when we get to Wano, which is like a big part of why I thought Wano was good, is because it's also a critique of feudalism as like why it doesn't work as a way of governance anymore. And after all this stuff, Sanji's just like, this is disgusting, which is like a good character moment for Sanji because he understands how fucked up it is. And then like Niji's just like, we're gonna fight now for what happened with her, and also the chef also gets beaten up by Niji in a hallway. Um, and we see Sanji doesn't even full blast kick Niji, but he kicks the fuck out of Niji, and it actually fucks Niji up. It like busts his nose because like it doesn't show it in the anime because they like don't like to show the blood and stuff, but in the manga it actually like bloodies his face. Like it actually like bloodies his face, and Niji like freaks out because it fucking apparently it really hurt. And the only reason Sanji doesn't beat the shit out of Niji here is because Ichiji says if you keep going, we're just gonna go visit Zeph.
And like that's pretty much the catalyst for his like when you look at how they really got Sanji, it's really they just played all into his cards. Like when you
Yeah,
think about it, like they played into the Zeph card. They played his Zeph wasn't enough. Played into the Straw Hats card about letting them get away. Then they played his dad did the one that was worse. And he put the bracelets on his arms, which is a good callback. That's a foreshadow to Wano when we see about that technology existing because we see it used on Yamato. But seeing like how they even threatened his skill, threatened his passion, threatened his cooking, like Judge really went the entire mile to really try to get Sanji to do this, even though damn well that he didn't even see Sanji again. And when you talk about what this arc really entailed was Sanji's nihilism, just in full force. And what I think about, he was really suppressing a lot of it. Like he really, when you talk about being with the Straw Hats, that's why a lot of those flashbacks on the point which we're gonna get to. We're not there quite yet, but you see a lot of the flashbacks being used to emphasize the emotion and stuff, and that he's actually going against what he's actually saying. But Judge did him dirty. Judge did him dirty. He tried a lot. It was kind of Doflamingo the way he was trying to do it.
Yeah, it's just you can. It feels so weird that they're just like Sanji's weak, but you have to stop Sanji from beating your ass. Like, it feels like it's
Like for real.
like it. It feels like Oda's just saying like, yeah, if Sanji didn't feel bad for Zeph, he probably could have beat all three of his brothers. Is what it feels like he's low key saying. You know what I mean? Because we know post Wano he could beat them all while they're in the raid suit and he's not. We know that 100% because King's or not King but Jack not Jack fuck Queen is stronger than all three of them.
Mhm.
And he beats the fuck out of Queen. Like it's like no contest, right? Like Queen's just like, haha, I'ma kill you, tries to cut him, the sword breaks, and then Sanji just proceeds to beat the fuck out of him. But the I just hate the framing of like his brothers are so much better than him because at this point in the story he could beat the shit out of all of them.
Like righteously speaking, he could. You talk about what he did to Judge
Yeah, it's a
last week.
Judge like Judge 100% knew Sanji would have won that fight if he didn't sacrifice people to make the kick stop. And
Yeah, he
also
couldn't take
like
another one of those kicks for sure.
he takes Judge's like secret attack, like full blown strongest attack, and it just knocks him down. And he's got like dust on him. And then he's dirty. And he's just sitting there smoking a cigarette still. Like it didn't even knock the cigarette out of his mouth. Like there's no way that Sanji doesn't beat the shit out of his brothers now. Because also the other thing is everything Sanji does, he earned. Everything the other kids do, they didn't earn. You know what I mean? Like
That's facts.
they didn't really like they were trained to fight, but they don't do like a crazy amount of like I don't want to say they don't train because they do some training, but they didn't do like the Kamabaka Queendom stuff or like how Zeph like drilled techniques into Sanji's head growing up, stuff like that. Which I feel
Yeah, they're
like is
more
important in
militant.
a
They've more gotten like a militant framework. When you think about it, like their framework is given to them based on like everything that was taught to them. They don't really have them, is what it kind of seems like. And Sanji's kind of got his skills and stuff like at the point they are now. Like this would have been totally different if they would have like tried to get Sanji pre-time skip before he refined his hockey, before he refined his skills, before he really like had come into the fighter that he is now. But now the type of person he is now, he's become the person he is now to protect people that's around him, like,
yeah.
and he's gotten really strong and he's continuing to grow and his ceiling's different from their ceiling. And they know that because honestly, you think about how they thought of him before coming there, they probably thought he wasn't shit, probably thought he couldn't do none of stuff like that. Then of course we're going to see later
Yeah, we see
how
he knocked Yonji out in one hit. Like he crushes Yonji's face in one hit.
yeah,
When they
definitely.
first meet back
We see
up.
how strong Sanji is versus how they are. Especially Sanji's value to the situation as a whole. We see later in the arc,
Also, I think
but
his like elemental ability, because we see Ichichi, Niji, and Judge, they all have an elemental ability, right? Like Ichichi can use fire, Niji and Judge can use electricity. Um, Judge can full cell like coat his shit in electricity, sort of like how Sanji can coat himself in fire. So I'm assuming that's like where Sanji got that ability from to actually summon the fire. But you see, like Sanji's is so much stronger than theirs, and Sanji can like coat it for long periods of time. Whenever it shows them, they just do it with one hit. You know what but like we'll see in a little bit, like Sanji can set his leg on fire and it'll just stay on fire the entire fight,
That's a
which I
point.
think is
That's definitely
interesting.
a point.
Which I think just goes to show like he is much stronger than them. He just can't do it because they'll blow his hands up. And then they'll kill Zeph. So he can't. So I think that's just an interesting point that if it comes off like he is much stronger than the rest of his family, he just can't do shit about it right now because the stakes are too high. Like his friends will die and a bunch of other stuff like that. And then we see some stuff with him as a kid, and we have the we see like Sanji was legitimately just a good dude growing up. Like he would make food for rats and stuff. And then a line that's really cold that like shows off like how fucked Germa is in the head is King's or the King Judge gets mad because he catches Sanji cooking food for rats, and he says royalty does not serve. Like that's his whole. That's why he's mad at Sanji. It's because Sanji's willing to serve people, but that is the opposite of what royalty's supposed to do. So like since the time of the Magna Carta, it has been the job of the king, because the Magna Carta is like the first
Yeah.
real piece of law, like
Magna Carta,
written.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a charter that established the principle that a king and his government are subject to the law, and it's basically it says the government's not above the law, but it also like outlined that the king is just as much a servant of his people as the people are a servant of his king. Like it's the first time in history that that was like the standard. And like they can't just, so the fact that Judge doesn't understand the fundamental concept of being a king, of that when you're royalty you're just as much a servant as your people as they are a servant of you, and Judge just fundamentally doesn't understand that concept, which I
At
think is
all.
interesting.
That's a good way of looking at that.
Which also shows like all of them are all of them are like super fucked in the head because they think they have the same. Well, Reiju doesn't have the same outlook on it. She just pretends to have the same outlook so that her life doesn't suck. Because we learned that she has the same emotion, like she has all of her emotions as Sanji. She just also has all the modifications, so she can't disobey her father. Because we learned Sanji, they don't think Sanji has the the stuff because we learn all the stuff with his mom. And so they don't think he has all the modifications, but it turns out he do. He just has to put
He
on his
definitely
raid
do.
suit to activate them. And then we get more backstory stuff with the Iron Mask stuff. Also, they fake his death for the Iron Mask, which back to the point about the Prince Philippe, they if Prince Philippe did exist, they would have faked his death and then put the Iron Mask on him because they wanted Louis to rule, which is cool. Like it's
Okay, that's a good parallel right there.
and then another thing about Judge, he only cares about his children in so much as how they impress him.
Same dynamic we see with Big Mom.
Yeah, which is like a good parallel that they work very similarly. That and to not next week because we're gonna have a break next week, but the next week when we get into like the devouring mother, we see like Judge is like the overly orderly father. It's like the male version of a
Opposite.
devouring mother.
Well,
Because there is
yeah,
a
the male
male version.
parallel.
It's the I can't remember the exact thing, but it's like the same thing as the devouring mother for a guy. It's the
It was like the
it's like the
super strict.
constricting father or something
Yeah,
like that. I can't remember
constricting.
what it's
Yeah.
called. It's got a name. I just don't remember the name. Um, and we learn like the reason that Sanji loves to cook is because his his mother loved it because he was the only one that would visit their mother when she was sick. And Sanji didn't know how to cook when he was little at all. And so all of his food would be disgusting. But you would see from the mother's perspective, it looks absolutely perfect, which is a really cool thing that Oda does because we see like the food that he makes is fucking disgusting. Like it looks terrible, but when Sora looks at it, it looks like a 5-star meal, which is really cool. Like the first thing that he makes is scrambled eggs, fish, and bananas. Like the first thing we see him make. But she thinks it's like Sora thinks it's like the greatest thing ever, and she eats all of it. And so he becomes obsessed with cooking. And so that's why he learns to cook, is because it's the only thing he can do to make his mom smile, which makes it even crazier with everything. And then his brothers would come and beat him up all the time, and then Reiju would doctor him back to health.
And she was the only one that had compassion for real, unlike the other dudes.
And then we get all the oh, I completely forgot about this. They I don't think they show it in the anime, but they actually do have a way to get to and from the new world, and it's the snails just climb the red line.
Yeah, they do show that in the anime.
Okay. Okay, I just didn't write that down. So
Yeah, they do. That's how they cross.
because I keep a manga open to make sure that I don't skip stuff that I wrote down when we
No, I
go through it.
understand. I
Just because it
understand.
makes it easier.
Yeah, I keep my notes and stuff, the summaries and stuff open.
And then we see when the Jerma's trying to fuck shit up in the East Blue. Reiju's just like, run away, hide. And then Judge is just like, you know what? Since you're my kid, I can't kill you. So please pretend to be dead and don't tell anyone we're related. And then, you know that fucks Sanji up.
Oh, for sure. Oh, heavily.
And then we get Reiju once again nurses Sanji back to health. And then we get to there's the end of the cracker fight. And there's something that cracks me up wholly about this fight. So, before he ate all the crackers, right? Luffy was getting worked by Cracker. You know what I mean? Like, Gear 4 didn't do nothing. Cracker was fucking him up. But then, when he has eaten all the stuff, when he spent all night eating, and he goes into Tank Man form, when he uses Gear 4 inside, or with all the food in him, he specifically says, I'm full of power, because he thinks that he got stronger from eating Cracker's power. And then he just proceeds to one-shot Cracker, which I think adds precedence to the belief that like the power of the Gum Gum fruit is not like the what it sounds like. It adds credence to that it is belief, because he believed that he got stronger by eating it, so he actually legitimately got stronger.
So I didn't have belief theories everywhere.
So I just thought it was worth bringing out. And he one-shots Cracker too, because it's like the first time he even touches Cracker, and he just instantly defeats him. Just instantly. Because, like, Tank Man's just apparently that much stronger than Bounce Man. which it's not really that much stronger. Luffy just thought it was. Like, Luffy just wholeheartedly believed it was, and then it ended up being stronger.
So
And
he
then,
sent him too. You talk about
yeah,
how far he really sent him. Because that forest that they originally couldn't get out of across that same field that Sanji and them about to fight, that he's about to fight on, into the city. Like, bro, he went far.
no, through the city. Because he, like,
Yeah.
smashes into buildings and shit, like, through buildings and shit. And it's crazy. Like, he just straight up one-shots that dude. Also, I like the carriages that Germa has. It cracks me up because they're called like calico carts,
Hmm.
but the cats that pull them are not calicos because calico is like a fur pattern. Also, another thing is the tank man has more like we can see more hockey on tank man than you can on normal gear 4, which is interesting. But I wonder if it's just because he thinks he's so much stronger or what. But he just proceeds to fucking one-shot him. He sends him... I think he goes through an... I think he lands on another island. Because it rips
He
through a
goes
hill.
far.
It rips through like a bunch of stuff. It fucks up the town. No. He crashes straight into the general's place. Yeah, right next to the chateau. So he goes all the way from the woods at the edge on the to the center of the island and crashes into the chateau, like just outside the chateau. Which is like fucking crazy. Like legitimately like it shows like that it's got to be belief. I can't think of it being actual imagination. It has to be his belief in stuff. Because that's like exactly what it is. Or how it seems to work. And then we get the...
Then like right after he sends Cracker away too, um, that little montage, right, that he gives when he's talking to Nami about the situation. When he goes into like Sanji's already left, we're behind, and all that. In his voice, like that whole monologue, you hear just how different he sounds. Like he even talks about how pointless the fighting he's doing, and he's wasted all that time. Like this is a Luffy who's like gotten so comfortable in carrying burdens that he looks at burdens as like I'm doing this, but like I'm trying to do it the right way. And he's like so serious. Like, and this is what we talking about him going into the lion. He's not playing games anymore. Like he's come there to get his crewmate back. And of course, we get
Well,
into right
also,
after
like,
this is when we get into the field.
when you're saying, like, he's the lion, like, he's not carrying stuff anymore. He's breaking down the
Exactly.
belief system of, like, before, he's just like, yeah, I disagree, and here's why I disagree when it comes to a fight. But now he's just like, no, I'm just going to kick your ass. Because, like, your entire system is stupid. Like, your entire, like, with Dofi, he's just like, nah, Dofi, I'm just going to kick your ass because your moral system is clearly wrong. Like, with Big Mom,
Exactly.
he's just like, I'm going to kick your ass because your moral system is clearly wrong. And the other ones, he was just like, yeah, we're, like, before the time skip, he's just like, yeah, we're going to fight because I don't like you and all that shit. But here, like, when it gets to Kaido, he's just like, I'm going to kick your ass because I think your moral system is wrong. Which is what the lion's, like, the lion doesn't actually kick ass. It just, like, tears a spot in the moral system of the world for when the child comes. And that's what Luffy's doing. He's just like, yeah, your moral system is fucking stupid. I'm going to destroy it. And that's what he does to every bad guy in this stretch. He's just like, excuse me. Yeah, Big Mom. He even calls Big Mom out on it. Like, when we get to it, we'll get to it in a little bit because I wrote it down, where he's just like, no, Big Mom, you're full of shit. We both know that's not true. Like, it's your fault. Like, don't give me that bullshit. Like, when he's in jail.
Yeah.
He just straight up goes like, no, it's nobody's fault but yours. And the fact that you can't admit that to yourself just means that you can't win if we fought. So come fight me. I fucking love that shit. Like, so come fight me. And then I wrote down a rather long thing. But before I read that, it is kind of crazy. It it makes me wonder: does being obsessed with a woman, is it genetic, or because the Vinsmokes are the only guys that lose their mind over Nami, like all of them. Like even later on when they're drunk, they even say like we should talk to Big Mom about trading something for Nami, because all three of them are in love with Nami, like Sanji is too. Is Nami just that attractive, or because it makes a lot of sense from like manipulating the bloodline elements? Does did they just imprint on Nami because Nami is the most likely thing to give them a kid that would be powerful?
I couldn't tell you.
But you know what I
I
mean?
don't know
Like it
enough
makes
about I don't know
sense.
enough about Nami's lineage enough to tell you how
Yeah, we
they
don't
were.
know anything about Nami's
Nami's still
lineage because
true
nobody knows
lineage. Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Because
true
she was
lineage.
a baby that was found after a battle, after like a battle by like Bellamere found uh what's her sister's name again?
Nojiko.
Nojiko just found like toddler Nojiko holding a baby and crying in the middle of a fucking war, and then just decided to raise. So it makes you wonder, like, why? Because it makes total sense in my mind that genetically modified humans using like having their DNA modified would make them imprint on somebody because they're the only ones that do this. Like they're like every time they see Nami, they instantly fall in love every time. So it just makes me wonder because since nobody else does it, is it that Nami's just that attractive, which is totally feasible? But since they're the only ones that do it, it makes me wonder if they're just
It's like a
imprinted on
genetic
Nami.
thing.
Yeah. And it would make sense. Because, like, it would just make sense from a perspective. Because, you know how, like, ducks imprint on the thing that hatches them? And they're just like, that thing. It would make sense to me that the genetically modified super soldiers could like subconsciously tell when something, because they're designed to just make military might. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're genetically modified to be able to tell when a woman would give them the best, like the strongest possible kids. Because that just makes sense from like how Judge designed their augments and stuff like that. It would make sense if they can just subconsciously do it, and then it would make sense why Sanji, like they would say like they might do the same thing with Robin. And then since Sanji's genes are fucked up, maybe that's why he does it on every woman he sees.
Hey, that kind of goes together.
Yeah, it's just like something that I was thinking about while watching it because it explains why Sanji's such a fucking simp. Because his brothers are, it turns out like his brothers are simps too, and it could just be a genetic fucking reason.
Yeah, because the way they treated Cosette, who they kind of look at like a peasant,
Yeah, but
versus
also
Nami, who
if you
they've
remember
seen.
though, also Sanji doesn't get all hard eyes over Cosette. He gets hard eyes over Pudding. He gets hard eyes over like Pudding's the only woman in this entire thing that he gets hard eyes over. So it could just be I'm starting to think that it's just things that like that it's like an imprint thing. Like it's only like they genetically fall for girls that would give them the strongest offspring. Just cuz if you're Judge, you would 100% put that in them. Like if you want them to be strong after you're gone and keep going and everything, you would want them to have. And another good point is they're so down bad. Niji is drooling when he sees Nami.
That's true.
Like
That's
when he
very
sees
true.
Nami for the first time, he starts drooling because Yonji's just like, "Wow, Yami or Nami's so hot and everything." But even Ichiji has the hard eyes too. Like they all just immediately just fall for Nami because Yonji's seen her before, but Niji and Ichiji haven't. and Yonji freaks out immediately the moment he sees Nami too. So it just makes you wonder. It makes me think that they imprint on whoever would give them the strongest kids, because it just makes sense. Like if I was making super soldier kids and like I needed them to take over for me, and if I could do that, put that part in their DNA, I would, because it just makes the next generation of them even stronger. And there's no way Judge wouldn't plan that out. Judge would 100% plan that, in my opinion. Like, I think Judge would 100%, if he could, would be like, make the grandkids even stronger. Check. Like, just because of, like, how he just uses people and shit, I can 100% see him doing that. And then we got the long ass quote from Luffy. So this quote's gonna take a little bit. It's
the same one when he beats Cracker, right?
No. This is like the whole ass one, like, cause you gotta like go through the entire quote, but it's the one that leads up to the end of the Sanji fight episode, part 2. The Luffy and Sanji's fight, part 2. Like the one at the end of it. Where it starts, come back, Sanji. All your excuses, or it's like right after the fight. Because like he like lands on the Cali coach, and then Sanji kicks him off. And then Sanji he's just like, get lost,
they don't show you
inferior pirates.
Exactly when he first,
y'all don't matter.
And it was something interesting. It was interesting about that point too. Right when he does the kickoff, because they don't think they showed it in the first part, but the second part, when he goes into the part which he tries to tell them the reason why he held it from them. He paused very hard and then told them, said, I didn't tell you because, and it's like, because I knew it would be very hard for you. It's like it took him a while to muster some of that stuff out, and that was led up to the quote that you're about to sit there and put out, because that whole thing, because even in that little montage they showed in the anime, they showed those flashbacks and stuff of like the crew, like subtly, not like the hard ones they do after the quote and after the kick, but yeah, like they led up to that, and it was great, because you kind of see. They subtly tell you that Sanji's lying, like very subtly.
But the thing is, Nami believes him, which is interesting. But it shows like Luffy might be stupid, but he's not an idiot. Or no, it's the other way around. Luffy might be an idiot, but he's not stupid. You know what I mean? Because he's just like he even basically says, like, I might be an idiot, but I'm not stupid, when he's yelling at Sanji. Because he just, like, immediately sees through all the bullshit when Sanji's just like, you're just poor bastards. I was just hiding with y'all because it, like, let me forget some stuff. And I just was using y'all to get famous. And all this stuff, like, is what he keeps telling them. And Luffy's just like, yep. You're a fucking bitch. Tell the truth. And then Sanji just proceeds to kick Luffy a lot, because, like, technically, like, it looks like Sanji beat the shit out of Luffy, but Luffy, if he wanted to, could 100% beat the fuck out of him. Just, like, straight up. Just, if he wanted to, could just be like, do, and it's over.
Still going back to saying that it was perfect. Still going back to saying how perfect it was that he kept Zoro out of this arc.
Yeah, because Zoro would have just been like, okay, bitch. It's time to go. It's time to go. Like, you about to get fucked up. You just kicked Luffy. We see King of Hell form come early. And then
couldn't come so early.
And then, what's it called? Luffy also is just like, this is a duel. And Sanji's just like, no the fuck it's not. But Luffy's just like, understands like if he can like stand through it, like it just proves like Sanji's full of shit. Like he like understands that fundamentally, that if he can take all of Sanji's hits, but also Luffy's exhausted because he just woke up from going Gear 4 and a bunch of other
And he
stuff.
hasn't eaten.
Yeah, he has it. Well, he just digested all the crackers. Crackers.
I mean, he about to get hungry again. Like soon after this, like he
Yeah,
ain't gonna
yeah,
have
yeah.
nothing to tank.
But also remember, like, only thing that fills him up really is besides like 12 hours of eating is fucking meat, and he hasn't had meat since he met Reiju, and he has to eat meat after he goes Gear 4 to like recoup, but he's gone Gear 4 twice and hasn't eaten any meat, so he's like tired. But here comes the quote. Come back, Sanji. All your excuses sounded so fake. I don't know why you said that crap, but I know you didn't mean it. You think that's gonna make me leave? Like we aren't friends? A couple of dumb lies won't make me give up on my crew. What'd you take me for? I'm not stupid. I know what's happening. No matter how much you kick me, you're the one who's getting hurt. We're not done yet. Our journey isn't over. I'm staying right here and I'm not moving an inch. I'm gonna keep waiting for you to come back. And if you leave me here, I'll just starve to death. You're my chef. Nobody else can take your place. I'm not eating another bite of anything unless you cook it. Even if I get hungry, even if spears or swords or stones rain down upon me, I'll keep waiting for you. You better come back, you hear me? No matter what, I need you on my crew, Sanji. Without you, I'll never be king of the pirates. And then as soon as he says that line, the ending credits music starts, and it's the Japanese version of the original closing credits. I don't know the name of it, but it's the song that goes, "As a kid, uh, uh, how's it? Like it's like as a kid, I was always searching for a great treasure." That song starts playing in Japanese in the background while Sanji walks away, and then it shows like a bunch of flashbacks from when they first met Sanji and like all the big stuff that they've done with Sanji.
Yep.
And then you also see like when he gets back in the calico, whatever it's called. I had the name down just a second ago, but now I can't. Now I can't think of it. But Sanji breaks down and starts crying.
Because that was when they showed us all the stuff when they really was piling all his nihilism down. When they really showed that not only did they threaten Zeph, pretty much the dude who taught him saved his life, pretty much instilled his way of thinking he has now. They also put bracelets on his hands, which was a good call forward to Wano. They put the bracelets on his hands saying that if you try to flee, they'll blow up. Can't cook no.
Yeah, take away one of the most important things to you,
And
and we'll kill Zeph.
then on top of that, threatening his crew that he's come to love, know and love these last few years, like so dearly that he'll kill them too. So pretty much, if you don't do what we want you to do, we just gonna make your life live in hell. So don't
Because
even try to
Germa
leave.
100% would lose to the Straw Hats in a fight. 100%. Zoro and Luffy would just beat them all. 100%. Like, it's not even fucking close. Like, Luffy would probably, like, one-shot Judge and Ichiji. And then, what's it called? Zoro would be able to do... Well, Reiju wouldn't fight that fight, but, what's it called? Yonji would 100% get beat by Zoro in like 30 seconds. Like if Sanji can one shot Yonji, Zoro can one shot Yonji. Just because what's it called? Zoro's that much stronger than Sanji. Another thing is, I don't know if you noticed this, but I thought it was really like it's a good bit of foreshadowing. we see like Big Mom get angry, and it like starts like a thunderstorm of syrup instead of rain. But you see Zeus, who's like the thundercloud made with her soul, and Prometheus is happy. He's just like, yeah, we're gonna get a fight. And you see Zeus, like his face is always just like, why do I put up with this lady's bullshit? Like every time Big Mom says something like dramatic or something like that, he's always just like, holy fucking shit, what is wrong with this lady? Oh my god. Like every single time. Have you noticed that? With Zeus's
No, you're
facial
right about
expression? Yeah, he's just like,
you're
what
right
the.
about that.
So it makes me wonder, because her power is the soul fruit, and she can take souls, and she personally made Pandora, Zeus, and Napoleon her hat. She made them specifically with her soul, and that's why they're so strong. So I wonder if Zeus has the part of her soul that realizes that she's a bitch.
Like her self realization or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, like the part of her that knows that she's a bitch, like she's terrible. Because, like, we'll get into it later when they rescue Brooke at the end, like the second to last episode, when they rescue Brooke from her. Zeus 100% sees them rescue Zeus and just goes, oh, it's a fly, and then goes back to sleep. Like, Zeus just looks at him and goes, it's a fly, and goes back to sleep. Like, he wholesale ass sees him. And he's just like, yep, no, not my problem. It's like that episode of the 90s Batman series where the henchman opens the door, sees Batman, closes it, and then walks away, and somebody says, did you see anything? And he goes, nope, I didn't see nothing. That's what Zeus reminded me of in that moment. And then, but I just thought it was worth pointing out because it's like kind of crazy when you think about it that there could be part of Big Mom, like Big Mom could have taken the part of her that understands how horrible she is, because no one wants to admit that they're horrible, right? Like no one, like it hurts your feelings to admit that you suck, right? Like to legitimately see like that you, like nobody likes you, like all that stuff, like it would hurt. So if she purposely took that part of her soul out and put it in something else, and that's why she's able to do stuff without any like unconsciously have all this stuff, like just do what she wants to do without even thinking about the repercussion or consequences. It makes sense that she would put part of her soul into a thing, like the part of her soul that understands that. And so it makes sense why later on Zeus is cool with not being around Big Mom anymore. Like, and it's just like little things that like it just shows that the Zeus is changing his mind doesn't come out of nowhere. Because you see, like, Zeus is 100% done with her bullshit all the time. Like,
You
Zeus
also
is,
see like
like,
going
all the time.
forward, you also see like how like his dynamic is different. Like Prometheus like kind of sucks up to mom a bit more.
And he also always wants to
So,
fight. Like, he wants blood.
of course.
Like, he's just like, let's kill people. But Zeus is just like, do we have to? Like, for real? Like, do we have to kill him, Big Mom? And then we also know that it is part of her, like we learn when she makes Hera later, that how she creates them, she clearly puts like part of her soul that she wants this aspect of into it, because she makes Hera very vengeful. Like if you remember, Hera's just like,
Yeah, that's true.
fuck Zeus. Fuck, which is kind of funny because the name is Hera, and that's like Hera's entire personality in Greek mythology is fuck Zeus. Because Hera's the god of marriage, and Zeus doesn't honor his marriage to Hera at all. But also another cool thing is when it starts raining syrup, Luffy turns around and puts his face in the ground, and he's just like, "Nope, not letting
Yeah,
any of
he
this get in
refused
my
it.
mouth."
Yeah, this is at the point when he was refusing to eat because
Yeah,
at this point he was serious about like not eating nobody's food unless it was Sanji's.
yeah. And then we see like how fucked up Big Mom's parenting style is too, because like like her youngest kid is like, the head chef won't give me a knife. I want to cut up my doll, and Big Mom's just like, yo, you two, give her a knife. And they're just like,
Yeah, she
no,
chose.
she's gonna pop her. She's just gonna pop her balloons. That's all she wants. She's wicked. And then she goes, well, I'm gonna kill y'all one day. Like the little kid goes, I'm gonna kill y'all one day. And like this is, it's like a fucking 6-year-old. They're saying like, I'm gonna kill you. And then Big Mom's just like, everyone's got 100 or 200 people they want to kill. It's fine. Just get along. And it's just like, what the fuck is up with this family? God damn. Like, fuck. Like, Big Mom's a terrible fucking mom. Like, we could have like known that from other reasons, but
Yeah,
it's
it's like
just,
they just threw it to us.
yeah. There's like, oh yeah, by the way, fuck Big Mom. Out of nowhere. Um, and then we get Pudding and Sanji meet, and you can just see like Sanji is fucked up, dog. And Pudding's just like, let's meet outside later. And then Luffy just wholesale ass like refuses to move and stands in the spot, and he fights an entire fucking army over it. Like he's just like, nah, bro,
Literally,
we fighting that whole fucking army.
literally. That's the only reason he ends up getting caught too, is because of his stubbornness.
But before the fight with the army, the fucking well, I don't even think that's stubbornness for real, or because
You can
like
call it that.
or like I guess it's like technically stubbornness, but when you hear like stubbornness, like you think that it's for like, or at least for me, the
No, I mean,
connotations of doing something for
no, like
being
when you
stubborn
talk about
is selfishness.
the logic behind the situation, because he could have did the exact same thing he was, but he could have just like he could have literally like moved, and like they wouldn't have, they would have had a harder time, like because it was at that point in time you still had Nami, you still didn't know where Pedro and them were. You know what I'm saying? He still had other responsibilities and stuff at the time as a captain. But like the honor behind it, of course, not
But
moving
also,
stuff
like he
behind
had
it, of
a
course. Just
responsibility. He had just as much a responsibility to Sanji to make sure Sanji's doing what he wants to do, like needs to
no
do.
one's but see, no one's telling him to leave though. I'm not telling him to leave. I'm just saying. Like he could have
Yeah.
just like he could have rendezvoused in a different location, made a different the same thing that he's about to do after when we about to get up when we catch up when we're about to talk about when Sanji gets heartbroken.
Well,
Like
so
same thing they're about to do. Like he could have done that and then like could have recruited Sanji the other
but
way.
also like
Like
I don't think it's what like it is stubborn to a degree,
okay,
but like when I hear stubborn, I think of it as like for selfish reason. But he's not doing it for a selfish reason. He's doing it so
don't say it's selfish.
Sanji knows where he is. That's the whole reason he does it. It's so
If you want me
Sanji
to
knows
change
where
the
to find
word,
him when he finds it. No, it's just I
meaning
think it's just a preconceived notion I
if you
have
want me to change the
when I hear
word,
the word
this
stubborn.
illogical would be the better word.
It
If you
is
want to talk about it,
unusually logical for Luffy,
no
which is really
illogical. Like not that it don't make sense.
no. I think it
Like
does
there
make
wasn't a
sense.
logical thing. No, I just okay. Like that. No, as a captain, he has way more. Like he can get there and still do the same mission he did, but him standing at one spot in the middle of enemy territory was not the smart thing to do. Was
Like
not the
it's
logical
not
thing to
the
do.
it's not the smartest thing to do, but I think it like I think it's he understood that it was for Sanji's sake the correct thing to do, so that's why he did it.
I'm not
Like,
saying that it wasn't for Sanji's sake. Like, but you do realize every time I say a point, you're agreeing with me and saying it.
well,
I
no,
just
I'm
wanted to
just
say
saying
that
like
before I
I
say
don't think
something
it's
else.
illogical. Like I think the logic that Luffy has is there, but I think you are right in it being stupid though of Luffy.
I never said it was stupid. I said it was stubborn, and I said it was illogical. It wasn't the smart thing to do. Didn't say it was stupid. It'd be stupid if somebody like Chopper or like Brook or somebody like who couldn't truly fight themselves off do it. The most stubborn thing he was doing was refusing to eat. That was the most stubborn thing he was doing. But the fact that when you see about him just staying there, I can go about him just staying there and like picking a different rendezvous point to where it was like, because he told Sanji he'd still be waiting right there. He could have easily told Sanji that he'll find him or something else. Like it could have been like another way he could have went about it if he wanted to. Not saying he should have. Not saying that it would have been better if he did. I'm just saying of what happened. It was not the most logical thing to do because in the grand scheme of things, he ended up getting captured.
But it's also interesting that
Oh,
like getting captured ends up being exactly what needed to happen. Cause like if he would have stayed there, like all the shit that happens that ends up leading to Sanji getting free wouldn't have happened. It's interesting that that's like if he didn't stay there, like he doesn't
I
run
mean,
into
like,
Jinbei.
because
He doesn't like
at the point in which he gets captured, the enemy pretty much lets their full guard down and fully believe that it's over because they captured the cap.
yeah, but that's when like it's interesting that that's what happens cuz like Luffy like I think it's just another point in the notch of the belief theory cuz Luffy just believes that it's going to work and it ends up fucking working. Like something that in like let's be real, it shouldn't fucking work at all whatsoever. But because Luffy believes with the absolute entirety of his heart that it's gonna work, it ends up working out again. So it's just I think it's just another notch in the belief theory's belt. Like once you start looking at it like that, it like makes I feel like it just makes it sound believable at every turn. And it makes me wonder if I'm just like forcing it to fit, the puzzle pieces to fit, or if they actually fit now. You know what I
Nah, I
mean?
feel you.
And then we get the Sanji's proposing to Pudding, and Pudding cries and says, "I won't let our marriage be hell to you two." That line, and then we get the fight. I guess it's a wholesale ass battle with Luffy versus all the Big Mom people.
The chess soldiers and everything.
Yeah, and well, not just the chess soldier. It's also
Yeah, the high ranking executives
Capote,
and all that.
Opera, Lomont. Isn't that his name? How do you say his name?
Lamont.
Yeah. And then this is how they learn about the Viver card. Friggin' is Opera's a paramecia or a logia? That's one thing I've been.
Which one he is?
He's gotta be a Promethea, right? Like, yeah, cream fruit. It is a paramecia. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. That's one thing I've noticed. Every one of Big Mom's pirates people thing, it's all paramecia types. Which is interesting because Kaido is all Zoan types. But I wonder if that's like they meant for it to be like that. Because I don't think them being all one way is an accident from Oda. Like I think it's like a deliberate choice to make all of these guys Promethean, Paramecia, or Paramethea, whichever one you want to call it, because the story has called it both. Or if it's like a an actual decision. Like I wonder if they do it because Big Mom has a Paramecia, and so everyone just has Paramecia in the group, or they were just like, well, when people are good enough at hockey, Logia feels like a liability. Or is it supposed to contrast the fact that all the admirals are, well, all the admirals used to be Logias before Fujitora showed up?
Well, yeah.
But that would make a lot of sense to me too, because before Fujitora showed up, before the time skip, they were all Logia. So it was like Big Mom was all Paramecia, Beast Pirates were all Zoan, and then the three admirals are Logias, and that makes sense. And then you go, what's it called? Whitebeard is just whatever people want to have, because there's a little bit of everything on Whitebeard's ship or fleet. And then Shanks just doesn't want any devil fruit users whatsoever. So it's just, I wonder if
That's
was
actually
the
that's
dichotomy
actually
they were going
cool.
for.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool because so far, I mean, I don't know that much about Buggy because Chop Chop is a Logia,
No, it's
isn't it?
Paramecia.
It's Paramecia. Shit.
It's
Yeah, that
probably
was crazy.
not actually the Chop Chop fruit, I believe. Like, there's no way that the first two fruits that we see in the
I'm
series
not gonna nah,
are
I'm
one
not
of
gonna go
those,
that
in
far.
my
Nah,
opinion.
nah, no, because you can't put the same hype of hiding the Hito Hito model Nika as this Chop Chop because you have to put a level of importance on there.
Well, or I should
Like,
say, I think it's not. I don't think it's a god fruit. I just think it's much stronger than it sounds.
yeah, I
So
mean
it could
every
be like one
every
of those
fruit's
things
gonna
that
have
will
an
awaken its
awakening. Like,
bullshit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean that's more canonical than saying that the name might not be that. No, the awakening better
Or
than
I
what
should
we
say,
think
I
it.
don't think it's not that I don't think the name's that. I just think Buggy doesn't understand how to use his power properly. Because remember, like he didn't realize he could fly until after he met Straw Hat Luffy.
What do you mean? That was something he told Luffy how to do.
No, I know. I'm talking about like he didn't do it. Like he didn't use his ability to fly, like do the pseudo fly
Yeah,
stuff
not the
when
first
he
time he
first
saw him,
met.
of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
like, but it would have
What do
come in
we like?
handy
But
then.
that's the
Is
same
what I'm
thing. I
saying.
mean, but
Like,
that's the same thing of like saying like at what point does Luffy use like gear second and gear third in those same fights? Like that's the same argument. Like that's he of course this was a long time since Luffy had saw Buggy at that point in time. If he didn't grow at that point, it would be crappy to bring him back into the story.
yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying like it feels like Buggy didn't really like we see like Luffy practice his ass off with this fruit growing up. It seems like Buggy was just like, well,
You're
at least
saying,
I can't die by swords, sort of thing, and like did like the like my hands float and stuff like that stuff. But I feel like he didn't full sail ass practice with it until after he met Straw Hat the first time.
and that's
Also,
plausible. I mean, that's plausible, but they also don't tell us fully what Buggy was doing the 2 years that they were, gone and stuff too, or that time after.
we don't
He
know
beat
what
him
he
up
got
until,
during the time skip either.
Alvita is the only real course of like person we see to actually put like a change in because she was fat and then she went skinny.
Yeah,
You talk about Buggy, like he Buggy, like Buggy was
Son tells
Buggy.
me he like actually like trained after that stuff.
But it's the same thing like now. Like I mean, where he's at in stuff now. Like once you get into that, like
Yeah,
he's
with like
really
Rosette
not
and stuff.
changed much. He just has a lot of more powerful people around. But
Yeah,
you
and
look
he
at other
still
people how they
doesn't
change.
like
We'll see.
do
We'll see.
stuff
Like
like power wise either. Cause he was
we'll
just
see.
like,
'Cause they
what?
haven't been. He hasn't been challenged though. Like that's the thing about Buggy. That's interesting. Like Buggy really hasn't
But it's like when the
truly
Navy
talked
shows
about
up,
all
he's
this
just like,
stuff.
fuck.
Yeah, things just kind of work out in Buggy's favor.
Yeah. But it's just something that I thought was interesting. Also, Buggy and Luffy both ate their fruit when they weren't supposed to. Is like in like Buggy eats his fruit because he gets scared and accidentally eats it, and then Luffy was just like, I'm hungry, and Shanks left it unattended.
Yeah, but saying that because they didn't want to, like Luffy literally picked it up and put it in his versus Buggy
Yeah.
got scared and
Yeah.
swallowed it on accident.
But I'm not saying like that
Even if
proves it
they
or
weren't
not. I'm just
intended
saying
to.
like it's a parallel is all I'm pointing out. I just think Chop Chop Fruit has like the potential to have like the most bullshit awakening. Like something tells me when
Nah,
that thing awakens, it's gonna be
I think the
fucking
most,
bullshit.
I think the most BS awakening that is gonna be up in One Piece is when Robin.
That's true. Like that might. I just want Robin to learn armament hockey, dude. Cause shit, that'd be so fucking OP. Cause like learning armament hockey completely negates the only downside of the fruit.
Wait, what do you mean only downside?
The downside of the fruit is whatever happens to the stuff that you summon happens to you.
No, it would improve it. You know what I'm saying? It
Well,
wouldn't like
I'm saying
completely negate it.
like it would negate a lot of it though, like because like they
Yeah,
would
it
have
would
to.
it would help. It would help a lot, but it wouldn't fully negate it.
Well, for Robin, yeah, it wouldn't fully negate it, but if someone with the force of
I mean,
will
because you're
like
talking like
Zoro
people
or
don't take damage still. Like it's still not possible to take damage with Haki. Now we still see people take damage.
well, it
We
also
definitely
depends on
do. It's
like
just a lot.
how the like how much willpower the person with
But in
Haki
Robin's
has.
case, the reason why I say in her awakening's case, in Robin's case, you talking about her being independent, and then on top of what we see her do, I don't know if it's been
Hold on, you're cutting out a little
happening of
bit.
late.
You cut up a
I
little
know
bit.
it hasn't. I know the thing about Robin's fruit that's crazy. I know it hasn't in the manga as of late, but the anime shows she can make clones. And bruh, if she sit there and
Yeah,
make clones
that
stuff
happens in
like
the
that,
manga too.
it's like, bruh, yeah, I didn't know
In
what
Wano.
chapter it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I
It's like
said,
I want to say it's where she beats the spider chick. Um, I think it's. I want to say it's like chapter one, like 10-10 or something like that. Because it's
um,
right before
you get
what's it called
you get
starts.
to the point where you start talking about her.
Oh, you
That
just
yet besides the
wholesale
one
cut out
fight.
on that one. Like you just said,
When you
like
talk about, I don't know.
think it's getting time to upgrade mics.
Yeah. But no, when you talk about Demonio Floor and the fact she can make clones and all the stuff that she can do that we don't really know, like her awakening coming out will be just the icing on the cake. Like when you really talk about it, and I think it's gonna.
Yeah, I do
But
want to see that awake because you could do so many interesting things with that awakening. Like, what if she can like make eyes and then just immediately read the road poneglyph and shit like that, like the next one, or like she can make like anything instead of just feet and arms. Like, there's just so much that that fruit could potentially do awakened. Or it could just be like there's two Robins now permanently. That could also be the awakening. Or what if the awakening is that she can turn other people into her? Like there's just so much like things it could do.
I'll leave that to Oda.
Yeah. There's just it's so open ended. Just so open ended. What is the name of the fruit again?
Floor.
Yeah, the Hana fruit. That's it. I couldn't remember the Japanese name of it. And then we get Luffy and Nami getting their butts kicked by the army. And we learn that they're just like they think she killed Lola because of they find the Viva card on her. And then Sanji goes to Big Mom and just like, if I don't run away, will you let my friends go? And Big Mom's just like, yeah, sure. Sure. We can
Why
do
not?
that.
Why not for my future grandson? I mean, son-in-law.
Yeah, and then it turns out the whole reason that she says that is because she kind of just wants to collect Luffy. Because she's mad at him and because she likes to collect things that are interesting. And a rubber man is interesting. Then we get the thing with the road poneglyphs where what's it called? Brooke and Pedro are trying to break in and steal it. We see General Smoothie. It's interesting with General Smoothie. I want like her devil fruit power is super weird because the first time we see her, she just literally picks someone up and squeezes juice out of them with the ring
Yeah, it's
fruit.
pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty much what she does.
Yeah, but the thing that's super interesting is it kind of makes her like a weird vampire.
Sort of, kind of, maybe.
Yeah, like she just like she squeezes people, she wrings the juice out of somebody and then she drinks it. Yeah, it allows her to drain the liquid, so it's like what a spider does. And I hate it with a passion. Like, I hate it with the legitimate passion. Because I hate spiders, and it just reminds me of a spider. Because, you know, like, spiders, the ones that build webs, they'll, like, bite the stuff, and it will make the stuff that liquefies the insides of the insects, and then they drink it. And so I hate Smoothie because she reminds me of a spider. And I hate spiders. Fucking hate spiders. So every time I see Smoothie, I'm just like, I hope she dies. Every time. Which is like, I understand it's a really stupid reason to hate her, but I fucking hate that bitch. Because she reminds me of spiders. And then we get to, the Pedro stuff is interesting because they like, we just see like all the other stuff that's been happening. And then here they're just like, I just hear Mission Impossible music with this part. With the Brooke and Pedro stuff. Just because they're just trying to be stealth. And then we get the Brulee trying to cook Chopper and what's it called? Carrot into a stew. And you want to know something super ironic about that whole thing, Ant or Dragon?
What it is?
So you know what brulee means, right?
Isn't it like a not like the same thing?
Like she's named it. It's the same brulee as in creme brulee.
Yeah, that's what's coming to my head,
Yeah.
but I can't think
So
of
it like
coffee.
it literally translates to like creme brulee, means like burnt cream. But what it originally comes from, it's the brulee is the French word for a burned down area of forest. And it's hilarious because her and a bunch of trees that are in her house waiting to eat the forest, eat the eat the stew, are about to get boiling hot stew poured on them and burned.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's
Yeah,
just like, there's no way Oda didn't know that when he put a couple of tree homies in this room. And that's one of the things that like I've noticed going back and watching it about One Piece is there's just a bunch of little jokes every fucking where. Like everywhere there's just a little joke everywhere you look, which is really cool. And then like I love when Big Mom's showing off the thing and she has the fake unicorn that she thinks is real when she's showing off her gel cells. That always kind of cracks me up. With the book jails. Also, another interesting thing that we haven't talked about yet. So her hat's name is Napoleon, right? It's her hat and her sword. So,
yep.
you know how we've been talking about, like, the whole point of this is because of Luffy as the Ubermensch. So Nietsche thought the two closest people in history to being Ubermensch, like the real Ubermensch, was Alexander the Great and Napoleon Bonaparte. It's kind of interesting that one of the candidates, because like the pirates are candidates for Ubermensch and the emperors are the ones that are the closest to becoming it, that she named her hat Napoleon, which was the person that created the concept of the Ubermensch thought was the closest person in history to becoming the Ubermensch. Which I think is just kind of funny. And it makes me 100% convinced that Oda reads Nietsche just because of that fact. Like I am 100, like a couple of dots on the graph don't mean anything, but now that they start to make a line, I'm just like, I see what you did, motherfucker. Especially like it's her sword and it's like the most straight laced of the three homies. Like it's the one that's the most on Mama's side with everything, like when we see him talk a lot later. And he's the most level-headed of them too. So it's almost like it's the part of Big Mom that is like
I
about
mean,
that life.
Napoleon doesn't talk that much.
He doesn't talk that much, but I'm saying like it's
You know,
the
we talk about screen time versus screen time Napoleon has versus
versus the other. Yeah, it's way
Zeus,
less.
and even Hera has, even in speech time. Like it's way more than.
Well, so, like what I'm getting at is like I
But you're
think
right
it's
though. He's always there. Like he pretty much just never left Mama's side.
what's also not just leaving Mama sad. He's like the one that's the most about it. Like you know what I mean? Like he's the one that's like it makes sense because like Napoleon was a conqueror. Like he was 100% about that life, and then the hat and the sword are the ones that are them because both the hat and the sword are the one that's 100% about that life. Like they're like he's the one that's the most ride or die with Big Mom, and I think that fits based on his name being Napoleon. And I think it's funny that he's also the one that is was the closest to being the Übermensch according to Nietzsche. And it's funny that one of the candidates for, according to the metaphor that we're putting forward, one of the candidates that's the closest to being Übermensch happens to have a part of her soul that she named Napoleon.
That's true. That's very true.
Because she straight up just named part of her soul Napoleon, which I think is cool. Um, then it cuts to Luffy and Nami locked up, and then they talk to Big Mom. It's interesting that the snail that they have here is fucking massive, and I think it's just making fun of Big Mom that this particular snail is fucking huge. It's like Oda's just like Big Mom fat, haha, fuck Big Mom. Is what it feels like, and it just cracks me up whenever I think about it because it's just like, yeah, that's just kind of funny. But I love how Luffy's just like, you want to fight? Then bring it, bitch. Like, this entire time, he's just like, I'll fuck you. I might be tired. I might be hungry. I might be missing a tooth. But I will fuck you up. I just love it. He's just like, bring it.
He don't back down from nobody. We see that like all the time. Even when he's in the state, he's probably not in the bed. Nah, he ain't backing down.
Yeah. And then we see the stuff with Lola where it's just like where she asks about Lola and she's just like, did you kill Lola? And he's just like, no, Lola's my friend. She gave me that as a sign of friendship. Big Mom's just like, fuck that bitch Lola. She ruined everything.
Yeah, that's when we found out about the her deal that she tried to do.
Well,
Our
before
first
that,
reveal.
we see a flashback where she talks to Lola, and then she talks to Nami, and she says, "A child that who doesn't respect her parents' wishes is useless to me." And it's very interesting how like when you have the closed captions on, she says it in the singular version of parents, not the plural, because she doesn't give a fuck if they listen to Pound or not. Because we learn later, like, she doesn't even remember who Pound is. Like, Lola and Chiffon's dead. But, it just goes to show, like, how much of a bitch Big Mom is. Yeah, that's right. I don't like Big Mom. But, yeah, when you're talking about, like, the political marriage Big Mom set up for her, and Big Mom wholesale ass believes that, what's it called? If Lola didn't leave, that she would have already been the king of the pirates. With the marriage to the what's it called? To Loki would have done it. She's like, if only she had done what I said and got married, I would have gained enough power to destroy Kaido, Shanks, and Whitebeard. But we know at this point, like, that wouldn't have mattered. Like that wouldn't have beat Shanks, like, straight up, like, even having the power of the pirates. But the thing that's interesting when she's like on that tirade, like before Luffy calls her out on it,
sure.
I'd wager that Shanks
still it's yeah, but
like,
saying for sure versus a wager, those are two different things.
Well,
we don't know for sure. We just know Loki and Shanks have a history together.
That Shanks still would have
I
won
wouldn't bet
even
the
with the
house.
pie. Like,
I wouldn't bet the. I bet the car. The
okay, that's
house. I
fair.
bet the
That's
car.
fair. That's fair. But before Luffy calls her out on that stuff, it does it is interesting when you think about it in the regards that she doesn't take responsibility for Luffy and Shanks. They're the two at the like when you're caught up to the story. They're probably the two closest to the One Piece, right? Like
Yeah.
as of
And Blackbeard.
1132. Well, yeah, maybe Blackbeard, but with Shanks and Luffy, the big thing is they take full responsibility for their ability to be the Pirate King. Like if they fail, it's not somebody else fucked up. It's well, we don't see Shanks say it, but based on Shanks' behavior, we can infer that he would be the same way with Luffy on it. That if there's a fuck up, it's my fault. Like I just wasn't good enough yet to be king of the pirates, sort of deal. Like that's literally part of Luffy's arc. Like when he goes to train with Rayleigh and everything, he's just like, yeah, I'm just not worthy of being the pirate king yet. I need to do some work on myself. Big Mom doesn't have that ability to notice that about herself. Like it's
Nah,
not
not at all.
like it's not her not marrying Loki's fault. It's just Big Mom's not good enough to be king of the pirates. Like it's her fault, and Luffy straight up calls her ass out on it too, and I fucking love it. But I think it's just worth point. Like that's another thing about with Luffy. It's not Luffy doesn't see himself becoming Pirate King based on how good his crew is. Because he just like he didn't pick people because they were strong outside of Zoro. He picked Zoro because he thought Zoro was strong enough and dope as fuck with 3 swords.
Yeah.
Like that's like the only one that was based off power, and it wasn't even really based off power. It was he just thought Zoro was fucking cool when it started. And it's also like how Zoro reacted with the little girl that made him be like, "You got to join my pirate crew." But everyone else, it was because he just liked the cut of their jib. He's just like, "I fuck with you. You should be on my crew." Like that's how everyone like. There's no power to it. Like it's not because he wants to become the pirate king by his own merit, not because someone else got him to like. Not because someone else got him to the dance. It's because he wants to get there on his own, like by his own power. And then if he just happens to have powerful people with him, he just like, cool, that's cool, but that's not what I'm after. But Big Mom wants the powerful people because I think deep down she understands she is not worthy.
And you're right about that. 'Cause it just shows just how fast seems how fast as soon as the stuff happened after this. Oh shit, I cut out again. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you.
But nah, it's like it's funny because as soon as she cuts after all this happens and she leaves, it's fast. It's funny how fast she latches on the
Yeah,
like
like
even so quick,
immediately.
like almost immediately.
And they're just like, we're gonna go become co-king of the pirates, but like that's like a discussion for 3 weeks from now. But yeah, I like how we see that Big Mom could never actually become the king of the pirates because she doesn't have what it takes to be king of the pirates. And Luffy, it's crazy. Luffy, like we've seen repeatedly, Luffy is a friggin' idiot. Like 100%. He is an idiot through and through. Like 100% certified grade A idiot. But he understands what it takes to be the Pirate King, which is really, really cool. Like, he understands in his soul what it means to be, like, what it means and what it takes.
I
And,
think he's bringing a new definition to what it means. Actually,
well, I don't think he brings a new definition because I'm convinced that he just has Shanks's definition.
yeah, but I don't think he's trying to be what Roger was. I think he's
Yeah,
trying to
I
be his
don't
own
think.
version of that.
Yeah, yeah, but I think it's because of Shanks, because Shanks is the reason that he wanted to be a
And
pirate in the first place.
Shanks has a big part in the type of pirate he wanted to be, but not the
Yeah,
pirate king he's trying to be. Because
but
Shanks
you
hasn't
know what
been a
I mean.
pirate
Like
king.
I think like the thing is like Luffy is basing what he thinks the best pirate
But
king
you
is
you
for
understand
him
what I
off
mean?
of.
Like he's when I say Luffy's making his own definition, Luffy's trying to be his own version of the pirate king. He's not. He's following Roger's footsteps on how to do it, But when he becomes that, I don't think he's trying to be the same.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, yeah, Shanks saying, following Shanks'
I think
example of how the pirate he wants to be. But Shanks has not been a pirate king.
well, I think
That's
that's
not
what
attracted the
is
pirate
so
king that
good
he's
about the
following.
example Shanks left Luffy is because Shanks wouldn't want him to be like Roger. Shanks would want him to be the pirate king Luffy would want to be, and that's what's so great about like
Exactly. And that's
Shanks
exactly
as
what I'm saying.
the
Like he's
Shanks
gonna
is like
change the
one of the
definition of
full
what it is.
yeah, Shanks is like one of the few people that would, like, if he shows you the way, that he's just like, I want you to do it your own way though. Don't copy the people that came before. Just be you. And that's one of the reasons I like Shanks as a character so much. It's because he's just. It's just the best way to describe it is Shanks just about it. Like Shanks is always on business, and I fuck with it. But what Luffy says to Big Mom though about that when she's just like, if I would have the pirates on my side, I could do it. Luffy's just like, your stupid excuses, Big Mom. Lola didn't get married, and that's on her. You haven't become the Pirate King, and that's on you. Nothing else to it. Like, he just straight up calls her out on that. Like, where she's just like, I would have done everything because. And Luffy's just like, no, you wouldn't have. It doesn't matter if you had the pirates or not. You wouldn't be able to do it because you're not worthy of doing it. Like, you don't understand what it means to do it. Like, and all this is just excuses because if you really could do it, you would have already done it. Like, it's that simple. And I just like how he calls her out on it because he's right. Like, Luffy's 100% right because she's got all this power. Like, if she really could do it, she probably would have already done it.
It goes back to like what we talk about the strong people up in One Piece when you look at the people who considered strong. Like Whitebeard didn't need those type of to go forward.
Yeah,
To our
also,
knowledge, Roger didn't need those type of alliances to go.
yeah,
Shanks
Shanks
didn't need
doesn't
those
need that
type of
shit.
alliances.
Well, you see,
Yeah.
even like
So
Shanks pretends to have those type of alliances just to protect other people. Like, Shanks goes one
yeah,
step
but that's
further with
we
it.
ain't talking about what we're talking about. Like
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
yeah, like partnership type alliances, like anything. We haven't seen Whitebeard is the top guy. He
Yeah,
looks
they
as
could
all
do it
his
all. They
Lord like
did it
son.
all because they had the ability to do it, not because
Yeah,
somebody gave them the ability to do it. But you see,
right.
Big Mom's
Shanks.
just like, I need somebody else to give me the ability to do it.
We we see people call Shanks chief, so they look at him as like a leader. But we see Shanks as a gentle leader. He is fierce, but he's not like unruly. He's not unjust. Like the whole Bart, like we'll see
Yeah,
later
with
in the
the
whole
Bardo stuff, that
Bartolomeo
shit.
thing. Yeah, but like you see, he's not using those type. But even Blackbeard is not using those lines, backstabbing people. If he's doing anything, if he's doing anything. But like Big Mom, she's just like subjecting herself. Like she just has these big numbers, but she subjects herself. But even then, it was shown. We're gonna find out later that she didn't even plan on end of the deal with Germa. But we'll cover that more later. But to see her now, like how she blames Lola for not marrying Loki is the reason why she didn't get the place that she wanted. Is just the ultimate form of like self projection, ultimate form of like denial. Like literally, Luffy tells her, "You're the reason you're not the Pirate King, right? Not Lola, not Loki,
Yeah,
you."
it's nobody but you. And it just goes like to show like Luffy understands what it takes to be Pirate King more than everybody else, but like Shanks does, which is why, and probably like Kobe too, but like not the pirate side of it. You know what I mean? Like, I just, it's a really good character moment, and I like it a lot. Like, oh, like the latter half of One Piece, Otis character writing is so fucking good. Because like Luffy's a fucking idiot. But when he gets it, he fucking gets it. You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
and then it goes back to the Soul King and Pedro trying to steal the poneglyph, and that part is I like how he's just Pedro's just running around throwing dynamite at people. Now he just straight up just like dynamite, 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 constantly, and that shit cracks me up because it's like he's playing a grenade build in a video game because he has like an infinite amount of dynamite. And we learn later like he's got an entire like suicide vest on of dynamite, which cracks me up. I like when Brooke is in the thing and he plays the song that like summons, like he basically gets a stand from JoJo and he's able to separate the souls from all the homies like instantly. And I just want to explore his devil fruit power more because it's so like the potential there is so interesting. Like I want to see what happens when it's awakened and stuff like that. Like I want to know
Of
how
course.
far it goes because
Brooke
there's
is like
just so
the
much.
anomaly. Brooke is like the anomaly in the Straw Hats. Like he's the one person who look at him as the next.
Yeah.
I think everybody else a little bit more predictable at this point, but Brooke, he's kind of his own character still.
Also, I
I
love the
think
fact that
there's a lot of screen
he
time
calls
for that
Big
reason
Mom
too.
a young lady because he's like 30 years older than Big Mom. I think. Hold on. Exactly how much older is he? I want to say that he's 30 years older than Big Mom. Older is Brooke than Big Mom. Um. I don't know. How old is?
I was gonna say, why don't you just do it that way? Look up how old Brooke is and
Yeah.
just do that.
She's 68. God damn. She definitely looks her age.
What? So man, 9.
He's 90. Brooke is 90. So yeah, he's almost 30 years older than her. He's 22 years older than Big Mom. So yeah, saying young lady makes total fucking sense. But it's just cool that he's able to say that. He's like, chill, young lady. But it's also just how he is as a person, like how he talks. But that the way that he can separate the souls is super fucking interesting, and I want to see more of it. Like what else it can do, because it's super cool. And then we see Sanji starts fixing food, and I wonder what he's making food for Pudding, because he thought Pudding looked ill earlier. And then it's Brooke. We see more of the ice stuff that he can do. I want to learn more about, because it's not ice like Aokiji. It's like what's it called? It's the wind from the underworld, right? Is how they describe it.
Yeah, the
That
chill
causes
in
the
the
ice.
underworld.
Yeah, the chill. That's the word. It's the chill of the underworld because he can like somehow connect to the underworld thanks to its fruit. And
Which makes sense.
yeah, especially I think we're gonna get more of his backstory in Elbath because Helheim, the underworld in what's it called in Norse mythology, is supposed to be extremely
Yeah,
cold.
that's good. You see, and then even in the manga right now, the shots of the underworld is pretty cold.
Yeah, but that's one of the things like
I think,
it's
bro.
not the ice world, but it is cold in Norse mythology.
I think it would be hella interesting if we find out. Because one thing about Brooke, I know his backstory. Because something I've been noticing is just because of what we've seen now happen with Robin's backstory. Um, the things that the Straw Hats went through that were their worst time probably made them stronger. And I find out, what if Brooke wandering all the time find body made his like affinity with the underworld more stronger, and that's why he's like that. I think that would be a cool touch.
It, Also, like
Because
he
we see it with
conceptualized
Robin.
it.
Because we're so far with Robin, she thought that the dude who kind of pushed her to live the whole time was dead, and now he was alive. And we find out she lived on one. He was one of the people's kind of held on to hard the whole time she
Yeah, like
was
growing
trying
up,
to
the only
live.
reason she did it was because like for Saul's memory growing up.
Yeah. So one of the things that was strong, we kind of see that one of the things that was one of her darkest times turned out to be something to work out. So
Also,
if the
and
trope continues, I believe Oda will. The trope continues.
also, if you remember when we first meet Brooke, he conceptual like what he remembers happening is that his soul came from like the sky. Remember, like that's how he thinks about it. But like he talks about like being in tune with the underworld, and so it's interesting that he thinks it came from the sky. Like I don't, he doesn't say it like with 100% certainty that it came from the sky, like heaven. So it's interesting if he just can't remember exactly where his soul came from when it came back. And then there's just so much Oda could do with that. Like, and where the underworld actually is in the world of One Piece in relationship to the actual, like, plane where normal people live. Like, just going in with, like, what you said about, like, maybe wandering around made him in tune. Like, there's so much stuff that Oda could just do there. And then could also be like, does One Piece have an actual afterlife? Two is another thing it could do. It's there's just so many interesting things that Oda can do with Brook's fruit. It's like the possibilities feel limitless. Just because there's so many different things. Another when what's it called? Pedro fights what's his name? Tamago. Another interesting thing is we learned Pedro was the captain of the Nox pirates, which is interesting because Nox is Latin for darkness, or the night, because Nox is the Roman god of darkness, the Roman version of Nyx. So that's it's cool that he's the darkness pirates, and he's a jaguar mink, which is kind of cool. Um, which I just thought that was kind of cool. Um, we learn Pedro's missing an eye, and he's technically an old man because Big Mom stole part of his soul. Reiju gets shot. We don't know who did it. She just said, "It's you," when she got shot. And then she got shot, so we're not really sure what happened there. Sorry about the cough.
Reiju being the one get shot too is interesting when you think about it. Like, of course, she would be the one because it's been kind of set up that way because she's the one with the compassion. So setting her up is the only one that's kind of next in line. Sanji ain't really got nobody else that could have sparked the same amount of compassion.
But also, like, she would be the most likely to not go through with the wedding because of how she is.
That's true too.
Also, what's cool is when it shows in the anime when it shows him making the bento box for pudding. He makes Luffy's favorite food, Robin's favorite food, Usopp's favorite food, Brooke's favorite food, and it doesn't show it in the bento box. It's not in the bento box,
Cola.
but he
Yeah,
also made onigiris. Okay, it's not in the bento box, but he also made some onigiris because it shows him being like crap abstinent and made everyone's favorite. Yeah, onigiri is Zoro's favorite food.
So
It's
much love it
onigiri
so
and
much
something
named to
else.
attack after it.
Yeah, so it's funny that he says that he hates him so much, but he secretly made Zoro's favorite food.
I mean, he's a cook when you think about it. Like, he would have to know.
But it's like I get like
But
he would have to know. But he
that's also
secretly made the person that he claims to not like's favorite food.
But you got to think
which is
about it.
funny.
Like you got to think about it. Like that's so consistent with Sanji's character. It's not like it's a surprise. Sanji's character is
It's
he's going to
him
beat you no
admitting
matter
that
how he
him and
feels about you.
like I feel like like it's proof that like he might not like Zoro, but he will sacrifice his life for Zoro because at the end of the day they're still
I mean,
crewmates.
that's like that's like a mark of it. Like I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, they're still crewmates. I mean, that's always how it's been, and I'm pretty sure it's the same way for Zoro.
Because like they do like hella respect the shit out of each other. Because
And they're
remember,
one
there's
of
the
the
one fight where Zoro fights the guy that kicks, and he's just like, "Your kicks are pathetic compared to this one guy I know." And then in the
hmm
same arc, Sanji fights a swordsman, and he's just like, your swordmanship is so weak. There's a person I know that makes that like just fighting you tarnishes his name or something. Like I can't remember the exact things that they say, but they basically like they like glaze the shit out of each other after they beat the guy up.
You know, their first truce they ever had was in Foxy, the Foxy arc.
Oh yeah, I tried to repress the Foxy arc.
Like some things you got to keep alive, but no, I think Zoro feels the same way. Sanji in a lot of because they're also one of the two people that they work. They're kind of almost unstoppable.
Yeah, and it's
Like
almost like they another thing. It could be like the reason they butts ahead so much is because they're so similar.
and plus, I mean, think about it too. They're the left and right wing of the Pirate King. So
Yeah,
of course
that's another thing.
they have to push each other.
Yeah, they have
They
to
have to push
constantly
each other.
push each other to get better. But I just thought it was cool. Like it just it's really cool that he made onigiri, but it doesn't like it's like he was just like fuck, why'd I make onigiri too, sort of thing. Because he just subconsciously made it all the stuff.
I think he's used to it. I think it's at the point in which he was going by muscle memory,
Yeah,
which
but
made
it's
it even
also
more.
interesting that he like specifically made each person's favorite from a just a story perspective. Like he like
Of course,
because it doesn't show it in the manga, but he also made chocolate or Chopper's favorite chocolate bar, and there's one other thing that he made and I can't remember, and he has a bunch of tangerines because that's Nami's favorite food. In the basket that he's taking the pudding. Um, but it's just like I said, this is
it's
Whole
when you
Cake
talk about what's
redeemed
about to
Sanji for
happen.
me.
You talk about what's about to happen.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
what's
in
about
the
to happen too.
situation, yeah,
Yeah,
because like he made the favorite foods to the people that he was supposed to forget, and it's something he's doing subconsciously.
yeah. So it
Like,
basically shows that he can't forget them.
yeah, and then of course when he walks up to the windowsill and
Yeah, and he's gonna see
boast
the
and
truth.
brag, he sees, yeah, he overhears Pudding sitting there and talk about how she has everything under wraps, and I didn't get the whole quote because I was kind of listening to Sanji and paying attention to him through all this because it was interesting. Though as much as he heard everything, dropped it, and it's almost like he was. You could tell he was in shock because it's almost like he went straight to like nothing for a while, and then goes to pull out the cigarette in the rain, of course, which is just like you think about people who have these nervous tics and they do stuff like if you ever tried like me, I used to bite my nails and like went to go bite a nail and there was no, what I'm saying, it kind of shows like the intensity of it when you understand like you see people go and they like you seen people who need a cigarette go try to light it and the lighter doesn't work, throw the lighter, or someone goes pick up a bottle and see the classic trope, someone picking up a bottle taking a drink in a show and then nothing there and they put out of anger. It's like kind of the same thing to let you know just how intense that moment is. He went to go pick up a cigarette, kind of smoke it off, because it lets you know exactly what he's doing is he's been trying to smoke it off, metaphorically. He's been trying to move it out of the way, forget about it, not talk about it, try to put the good things in front, because he just told himself that, oh, if he just gets a life with Pudding and everything will be, then to hear Pudding doesn't love you either. And you're
Yeah,
doing the exact same thing that what you're trying to do right now. You're trying to smoke it up in the rain. We know damn well
yeah.
lighters
Even
ain't
the
finna work in that rain.
what's interesting is like the episode is even called Moist Cigarettes. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
called Moist Cigarettes because he's in the rain. It's Moist Cigarettes because the tears, like how he's sitting, the tears would fall onto a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's, like, he has his head down, where, like, his eyes are directly over where his cigarette sits. And he's just sitting there trying to light the cigarette. And it's in, like, how it's shot, you can see that the thing that, like, is falling on the lighter, it's like really cool cinematography when you look at it. It wouldn't be that the rain's falling on it. It would be that his tears fell into the, like, on the igniter. Because of how he's sitting, his face would be covering the, like, would keep the rain from getting on it. So it, like, implies that his tears are the reason that it can't light. Which is just really good cinematography, in my opinion. And then I like Luffy was so about business when he's in the jail cell that he's just like, I'm gonna rip my arms off.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually like rips his skin up real bad because of how much he stretches.
Oh, he was gonna really do it.
Yeah, he was wholesale ass about it. And then what's it called? When Pedro is fighting Tamago, and we learn like he was best friends with Beppo's big brother and everything, and Beppo's the one that died, or Zeppo's the one that died, and everything. We see he says Tamago, he tells Tamago, the dawn of the new world is coming soon, and I can't rest until I've seen it. And he thinks Luffy is the one that's gonna bring that dawn, because he's just like, what changed? And he's just like, I met the Straw Hats, which is cool. And the whole reason that he's like, we got to do all this stuff is because of we got to help the Straw Hats. And also, Tamago's Devil Fruit is kind of OP. It just happens to be on somebody that's kind of weak. Which cracks me. Like, I could see that Devil Fruit being really strong on somebody else. Also, talking about the thing that I said with the rain stuff, like when he's walking out in the rain, the cigarette is still lit, but when he starts crying, it puts the cigarette out. I completely forgot about that. And we see like Pudding's actually a 3-eye hybrid, and she explains the whole thing about we're destroying Germa. But yeah, I didn't even realize that it's his tears that actually put out his cigarette. Because in the rain, it's still burning. But then when he starts crying over it, it goes out. That's really fucking good cinematography. God damn, dog. And then we see Pudding can't stand him for now. The next couple episodes. Actually, you know something I just noticed, Dragon?
Hit me.
The thing I just said, like with the cinematography, is actually what happens in the manga. I didn't even notice this the first. If you see, it's actually his tears are the thing that's on the igniter and preventing it from lighting up. Because you can see his tears landing on it. In the manga, like it actually shows like his tears are the thing that's preventing him from lighting another cigarette or relighting a cigarette. Because you can see it's the same cigarette because of the burnt end right there. But it's actually his tears that prevent him from smoking, not the rain. And at first I just thought that was like clever cinematography, but no, Oda's actually the one that came up with that concept of the tears being the thing that won't let him smoke. That's good fucking writing right there. I've said it a couple of times today, but I gotta say it again. Just because that is incredibly fucking clever. And then we see, we have Brooke fighting, air quotes, fighting Big Mom. And his power doesn't work on things in bed with her soul. And so it makes you wonder, is the reason that it doesn't work on things with her soul, I wonder if it's because of Conqueror's Haki. because I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it is. And then we learn what's her name? Pudding has the memo fruit, so she can modify people's memories. And then Jinbei comes, breaks Luffy out of prison. It's kind of funny that Jinbei breaks Luffy out of prison, but how they met was Luffy broke Jinbei out of prison, which is cool. I like that. What's next? Reiju has her memories erased. Sanji can light a cigarette now that he's not crying. And then he explains the truth to Reiju, and Reiju's just like, you want to know the truth? The reason you're my favorite brother is because you are our mom's favorite. And our mom was the most proud of you. And it's just like, goddamn. Why you have to be like that? Why you have to do that? Why you have to say it like that, bro? I didn't need my feelings kicked in the nuts, but Oda decided to go ahead and do it.
Does that often?
Yeah. And then we see like cuts back to them escaping prison, and Luffy just wholesale ass passes out. It's just like, I gotta go back to the spot. I know Sanji's gonna meet me there. I know he's gonna meet me there. He's gonna meet me there. It's Gucci. And then I can finally eat. And then Luffy has basically another war, and he beats the shit out of the people that won the fight last time, like the 3 guys that beat him up last time. He was like, you know what? Fuck it. No. Y'all that run back, and he beats the crap out of all 3 of them. And then you see Sanji's just like, wait a second. Luffy's waiting in the spot for me. I gotta hurry up. I gotta get over there. And then Big Mom captures Brook, and it's just like, after beating Brook, she's just like, this is the first time anyone's ever hurt Prometheus. You're an impressive little man. Plus, you're the first ever actual living skeleton that I've ever seen. And it's just, and they're just like, he doesn't have any rubbings of the poneglyph. He couldn't steal it. And then Big Mom goes to sleep. Well, we also get a couple of things with Pudding. When we see, there's like, has your third eye abilities opened yet? She's like, and Pudding says, that's all you ever talk about. I'm just a half-blood. I might not ever get my powers. And then she tells Pudding, well, you're just my doll anyway. And then Pedro blows himself up, fighting the chicken version of Tamago. Like, he just wholesale ass blows himself up. Jinbei and, what's it called? Jinbei and, I can't think of the name. Robin meet up with Chopper and Carrot. Oh yeah, Reiju explains to Luffy the situation. And then they go meet up. He goes to meet him up. Keeps fighting the guys. And then Sanji runs there to meet up with him. And you see, like, on his way there, Sanji has to fight a couple of people that try to steal the food from him. And the food gets absolutely ruined. Like, he even thinks back to the food that he would serve his mom because of how bad the food looks when he's over there. Like, he's just like, man, this looks disgusting. No one would ever want this. There's no way anyone would ever find this food enjoyable. But he's just like, I gotta give it to Luffy anyway. Mm-hmm. And when Luffy eats it, Luffy's just like, oh my god, this is so good. And he's being like genuine. It's no made up stuff.
If you think about it, that's probably the best he's eaten ever since he got that meat from Reiju. Even then, because I don't think the biscuits that Cracker has were meant to taste good. That's just,
yeah, I would imagine
everything else he had after that. Like,
if you remember, it's biscuits like the British version of biscuits, and those hard ass cookies taste terrible.
Yeah,
like, they're super.
So I imagine that something that Sanji cooked, it was soggy, it was waterlogged, but seasonings and stuff. If Sanji's good as a cook as I think he is, oh, that stuff probably still tasting him.
Yeah, and then we get the try and fail. I like how they try to frame it as a game show in the anime when they try to save Brook and they can't, and then Jinbei pulls it off because Jinbei's about that life. But that's also where we see like Zeus notices them in the anime. Like Zeus opens his eyes, looks at him, and just closes his eyes again and goes fly and then zaps him. So it just makes me think like Zeus is tired of Big Mom's bullshit. But I like, and then you see Brook actually hid the poneglyph things in his skull because it's a literal big brain move. Because he had enough room for the poneglyph things. And then he feeds Luffy, and Luffy gets back to full health. But also, like, it's interesting because he has the exact same idea of it as Luffy's mom did, or not Luffy's mom, but Sanji's mom. And also, an interesting thing is, Luffy gets all shriveled up and turns into an old man, right? Like, he looks like an old man. But as soon as he finishes the food, he tells Sanji, I was close to shriveling up into an old man. And it makes me wonder, like, does he just shrivel up and turn into an old man because he believes if he doesn't have food, that he'll shrivel up and turn into an old man? Which just goes back to the belief theory. Because as soon as he, like, takes the first bite, he, like, his face returns to relative normality. And Sanji's just mad. He's like, I can't come back with you. I attacked you. I have to stay here. And Luffy's just like, nope. Punches him in the face. It's like, there, we're even. He's like, I can't come back since I hit you. And Luffy's just like, and Luffy doesn't just tap him. Luffy full sail, like, massive fucking, not like massive in size, but like massive amount of force. Like, he rips King Bomb in half when he punches him into it. And Luffy's just like, tell me how you really feel. And then Sanji breaks down crying and says, I want to go home. I want to go home to the Sunny. And Luffy's just like, you're always with us. Like, let's go crash the wedding. And then that's how these episodes end this week.
You see Sanji's whole like transformation through all of these, how he good from woke him back up and realized kind of had forgot where he was. Folks really don't care about him like that.
Yeah, and we get all
like never left.
Like, he realizes that he shouldn't have left, and that his crew would never leave him behind either. Because like we learned that he spent his entire formative years until he meets Zeph being told he's not enough. And then his crew is just like, what do you mean not enough? Dude, you're literally everything. You know what I mean? Like, his crew is just like, dude, you're everything you are supposed to be and more. Like, don't let the fact that you're, like, for lack of a better term, I can't think of a better way to say it than tragic backstory, it's just like, you're more than, like, you're everything you've ever needed to be, big dog. You're one of our crewmates. That's all you ever needed to be. Dabs him up, and that's basically how it is. And it cracks me up, like, you can boil it down to that. But yeah, it's good set of episodes. I love the how he's basically redeeming Sanji's character, because I wasn't a huge, didn't make it a what's it called, a secret that I didn't like the simp shit from Sanji. But Homedude's just like, Oda was just like, let's fix that problem then. Let's make it not a problem anymore. And then kind of almost completely redeem all the simp shit Sanji's been doing for the past, what was it? Almost like 18 years at the point that this came out. Because Sanji showed up in like, I can't remember if it was 2000 or 99. I don't know how soon it was. But yeah. I think that's it for this week. What you think? You got anything else to add to it?
Nope. I have no notes.
But yeah, so next week we're gonna have a break. But the week after that we're gonna do a double episode. Or do you want to just do a single episode and continue? How do you want to do it? I guess we'll just do a double episode unless there's like an overwhelming amount of people that say just do it single. Because actually, I think we should just do it single because we could probably spend the entirety of next time on the.
We also can talk about this off stream.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for this week, guys. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. I hope y'all have a good week. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate y'all. And this is Corrupted.